Manifestation has become a buzzword in recent years. Many misunderstand it as simply wishing for things and expecting them to magically appear. However, true manifestation is an active process. It requires a deep understanding of our minds and a willingness to do the work. It's about aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with our desired outcomes. Our brains have a negativity bias. This means we are naturally wired to focus on threats and negative experiences. This bias served us well in our evolutionary past, helping us survive danger. However, in the modern world, this negativity bias often keeps us stuck in fear and self-doubt. It prevents us from pursuing our dreams and living our fullest lives. To manifest our desires, we need to override this negativity bias and create new positive neural pathways. We must shift our focus from what we don't want to what we do want. Manifestation is not about denying the existence of challenges or difficulties. It's about approaching them with a positive mindset and believing in our ability to overcome them. It's about taking inspired action towards our goals, knowing that the universe will conspire to support us. For centuries, ancient wisdom traditions have spoken about the power of the mind to shape our reality. From the yogis of India to the Stoic philosophers of Greece, there has been a shared understanding that our thoughts create our experiences. Now, modern science, particularly the field of neuroscience, is catching up with these ancient truths. This bridges the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and visualization, long considered esoteric, have a tangible impact on our brains. For example, studies have shown that meditation can physically change the structure of our brains, increasing gray matter in areas associated with focus, emotional regulation, and compassion. Similarly, visualization techniques, used by athletes and performers for years, have been proven to activate the same neural pathways as actually performing the action. This understanding empowers us to use these ancient practices with greater awareness and intention. We can now combine them with modern scientific knowledge to create lasting positive change in our lives. Neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible ability to change and adapt throughout our lives. It was once believed that our brains became fixed in adulthood. However, we now know that our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on our experiences and thoughts. Every time we think a thought or engage in a behavior, we strengthen specific neural pathways. Think of it like walking through a forest. The more you walk a particular path, the more defined and easier it becomes to follow. The same goes for our brains. The more we think negative thoughts or engage in self-sabotaging behaviors, the more ingrained those patterns become. Fortunately, the reverse is also true. By consciously choosing to focus on positive thoughts, beliefs, and actions, we can create new neural pathways. Over time, these new pathways become our default mode of thinking and behaving. This is the essence of manifestation, consciously directing our neuroplasticity to create the life we desire. While vision boards and affirmations can be helpful tools, it's important to emphasize the role of intrinsic motivation in manifestation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It stems from our deepest passions, values, and sense of purpose. When we are driven by intrinsic motivation, we are naturally more aligned with our actions. We are also more likely to persevere through challenges and achieve our goals. Focusing on our magnetic desires that are emotionally charged, personally meaningful, and aligned with our values. These are the desires that will fuel our actions and draw us towards our desired outcomes. Here is a practical 4-step process for manifestation, grounded in neuroscience. First, awareness. The first step is to become aware of our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. This involves paying attention to our inner dialogue, identifying patterns of negativity, and understanding how these patterns might be holding us back. Second, reframing. Once we are aware of our limiting beliefs, we can start to reframe them. This means challenging the negative thoughts and replacing them with more positive and empowering ones. Third, action. Manifestation is not a passive process. It requires us to take inspired action towards our goals. This means breaking down our goals into smaller, manageable steps and taking consistent action, even when we don't feel like it. And finally, accountability. Having a support system can be invaluable. This could be a coach, therapist, mentor, or trusted friend who can hold us accountable, provide encouragement, and help us stay on track. By following these 4 steps, we can consciously direct our thoughts, beliefs, and actions towards our desired outcomes. Section 6. Breaking free. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are often deeply ingrained, stemming from childhood experiences, societal conditioning, or past traumas. These beliefs act as roadblocks, preventing us from pursuing our dreams and living our full potential. Challenging these beliefs can be uncomfortable, even painful at times. It requires us to confront our fears and insecurities. However, it is essential for personal growth and manifestation. We should question our beliefs and ask ourselves if they are truly serving us. Remember, we are capable of far more than we often give ourselves credit for. Section 7. Neuroaesthetics, finding beauty and enhancing well-being. Neuroaesthetics is a field that explores the impact of art, beauty, and creativity on our brains. Surrounding ourselves with beauty, whether in nature, art, music, or design, has been shown to have profound effects on our well-being. When we engage with beauty, our brains release dopamine and other feel-good chemicals. This can reduce stress, boost creativity, and enhance our overall mood. Incorporating neuroaesthetics into our lives can be as simple as taking a walk in nature, listening to uplifting music, visiting a museum, or engaging in a creative hobby. Section 8. Digital detox and mindfulness practices. In our hyper-connected world, our minds are constantly bombarded with information and stimuli. This digital overload can lead to stress, anxiety, and an inability to focus. Incorporating digital detoxes into our routines can be beneficial. This could involve setting boundaries around screen time, disconnecting from social media for periods, or simply being more mindful of our technology use. Practicing mindfulness, whether through meditation, yoga, or simply paying attention to the present moment, can also help us quiet the mental noise and cultivate a greater sense of peace and clarity. Section 9. Your journey to manifestation begins now. Manifestation is not a destination but a journey, a continuous process of growth, self-discovery, and conscious creation. It requires us to understand the power of our minds, challenge our limiting beliefs, and take inspired action towards our goals. By incorporating practical strategies, we can all learn to harness the power of manifestation. We can create a life that is aligned with our deepest desires and live with greater purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The journey begins with a single step, a single thought, a single decision to believe in the power within us.